And I've heard Jerry say a million times, if you give me an opportunity to win another championship, I'll write as big a check as I can write. And anybody tests me on it. We got tested, and we failed.
What's going on? It's Keyshawn, and welcome to my show, All Facts and No Breaks, presented by Oikos. Stronger makes everything better. Remember to subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on all social media, wherever you get your podcasts. And joining us today is a close friend of mine, very close friend of mine, three-time Super Bowl champion, Hall of Famer, and my co-host on FS1 Speak. It's the playmaker, Michael Irvin. What's up, playmaker?
Okay, it's all good, man.
Yeah?
It's all good. Life is good, but I get to, I get to come in and have a locker room with guys like you and Paul and Joy, and we get to have fun, man. And I always tell people, I find it amazing that I'm working in this building. I'm staying at that hotel that I stay at. And I was working in this building, staying at that hotel when you were just a rookie and we were hanging out at that same hotel where you were coming in, and now God has us over here working together. I mean, it's just, I just appreciate our journeys crossing.
Yeah. Oh, no, and my son, Keyshawn Johnson Jr., obviously is with us, too, as well, Michael, and he'll be chiming in on the show.
Good-looking dude over there. Boy, got all your mama looks. Boy, bless, boy.
Appreciate you.
Let that boy be thankful you got the mom looks, boy. I'm just telling you.
So let's talk a little bit about the AFC Championship game, Michael. The Chiefs won the football game over the Buffalo Bills. Another classic playoff matchup between two amazing teams. The Chiefs win 32-29. What was your biggest takeaway in that game?
That we keep trying to find out and point to something to say, boy, that's what makes Patrick Mahomes great. That's what makes him great. But each time you try to put your finger on the one thing that you can call the dominating thing, he shows you something else. And that's what makes it so incredible to watch. You walk away saying, I just don't know if anybody can beat them. They hadn't scored 30 points all year, not in any game. They hovering around 20, 22 points. And then here comes Buffalo, who scores about 30 points a game. What do? They go score 30 to win the game. It's just he does whatever he needs to do to win the game. That's the thing that sticks out more than anything to me.
In obviously these championship games, or games in general, never come without controversy, right? So the internet going crazy over two calls that went the Chiefs' way and not the Bills' way. The 4th and 1, Josh Allen missed the first down. Many people thought the spot was wrong. You had one referee on one side. You had another referee spotted on the other side. Then you got the Xavier Worthy 50-50 ball, which hits the ground. Many people don't understand the ball never moved. It hit the ground, but it never moved. That rule was changed way some time ago because of Bertie Manuel. What do you think about those two calls?
And the two things, because I had to explain to my guy Cam and Mason on It Is What It Is podcast the same thing. They're like, Michael, how can it be a completed pass if the ball hits the ground? Well, but the ball, it was in possession of the ball.
Shifted.
And the ball never shifted. It's as if, if I dove for a ball, stretched out dive, I catch it. When I land, and I hate, you don't want to catch a ball like this because you ain't going to have no breath to breathe in a minute. But you stretch out, you catch that thing, and you catch it. The ball hits the ground first. It shoves it right back in your stomach, but you hold possession. That's a completed catch. And that was a catch. That wasn't a reception. That was a reception. I say that too. Now, the thing that was a little shady grady, if you want to say it, it was that first down and the marks of the first down. And I understand there's a whole scrum there, especially with this tush-push iteration that we have now in today's game. But you think with all the technology that we have some kind of little radar, something in this ball that said, beep, it went across that line. But even then, when did it go across the line? When was forward momentum stopped? All of those things will still have to come in.
I think he got it on a second shot. not on the first shot. So I watched the game from the Cosmo that we shot our show at a couple weeks ago.
Right.
So I'm on the 50-yard line in Cosmo, and I'm in Cosm, and I'm right at the stick. Right at the stick. As soon as he got hit the first time, I told everybody that was with me, I said he didn't get the first down.
Right.
No, he got it, Key, he got it. I said he didn't get it. I'm looking, because when you stand on the field, you can see everything. And I was basically on the Chiefs sideline looking at everything. He didn't get it. Now, the second opportunity he did, but at that point, the referee had already marked that he was short of gain, a line of gain. So what you going to do at that point? But
the discussion comes in where the far guy who did not get the chance to mark it was the clearer viewer of the football. Because when Josh Allen, he turned this way towards this ref, the back ref got the call. Now, the ref that can see the ball should usually get the call, and that forward ref had him for the first down, peer his walk. But the other ref did not, and I thought that was pretty fascinating. But we got to understand this: all of these games come down to just this, or an inch here, or one play there. It's always close situations, and since they find a way to win all of those games, our own mind just can't fathom that 15 is this good. It has to be some cheating. Our mind just won't take it. It has to be cheating. That's why we look for cheating.
Well, they for many years, Brady kind of went through the same thing. Oh, he's got to be. They're kissing
cheating
on the refs. They loving the refs a little bit.
It's
so it's those things. Will Josh Allen ever win a Super Bowl?
I believe Josh Allen will have an opportunity to win a Super Bowl. Now, here's the thing for Josh that he has to deal with, right? You can't just wait till you get a little older, a Pat gets older and he retires. Because by that time, Josh, you're not the same Josh Allen. Right now, you can be Superman all game if you have to. In another 5-6 years, you may be able to be Superman for a quarter or so. So, as you're talking about your time, his time going, Patrick Mahomes, and as he's getting older, so are you. And you're losing some things, so you got to try to find out how to get over the hump and go through him, not getting around him.
So Joe Burrow's already beat Patrick Mahomes to go to the Super Bowl.
Right.
Which one, Lamar or Josh Allen, will be the next to beat him to go to the Super Bowl?
That's a great question too, but I think which one is a hard answer. I can tell you who has the most pressure. I believe that the most pressure relies on it definitely lays with Lamar Jackson. You had this team this year. I don't know that you can go find another iteration of the Baltimore Ravens where you will say they give him much better chance than he had this year. You can find some iterations of the Buffalo Bills and that offense that you could say, we can get him some more help and we can come back and have a better chance.
Michael and Keyshawn, the Chiefs advanced to their 5th Super Bowl in 6 years. Think about that. In 6 seasons, they've been to 5 Super Bowl trips. Mahomes' 17th playoff win, breaking the tie with Joe Montana, putting him second amongst the quarterback greats. Trails only the greatest quarterback with 35 wins in Tom Brady. When I don't even know what to say about Mahomes. It's just becoming so ridiculous that every single time he wins the division, he's in the AFC Championship game. And outside of last year, the AFC Championship game has been in Arrowhead.
Like clockwork.
Like clockwork, right? Like it's just like you ain't gonna get no real odds on betting. You ain't gonna let you make no money.
It's amazing when you talk about 6 years, 7 years in a row at the AFC Championship game. Dude, and I don't know if we give Andy enough credit. Andy did, we did 4 years in a row in Philadelphia
4 years
in the
in a row.
NFC.
Yeah.
So after he, dominated over there, he came over. That is, I said, I know a lot of things went down in Philadelphia, but I said it when they let him go. I don't care what went on in Philadelphia. If I was in Philadelphia, I wouldn't let that big hamburger joker get up out of there.
But it probably was time.
I understand.
Time.
I understand. I understand all of that. And I'm saying, it was time they need a reboot. No, I'm saying Philly, they did pretty good. They're back in the Super Bowl right now. Andy, Philly should have capitulated and said, we need to give you whatever space and whatever time you need, but we will not let you leave up out of here. That's what I would have said to Andy Reid.
Oh, where would you guys rank Andy Reid in terms of coaching all time?
Man,
it depends on what you. I mean, I didn't see all them dudes in the 50s and all the Papa Bears and the Lombardis and all that. I mean, I seen Belichick. Belichick was my defensive coordinator at the Jets. I've been around him. Belichick would have to be 1, and Andy Reid would have to be 2 as it stands right now.
Correct.
And Mike Tomlin would be 3. That's kind of my
you.
order.
I'm with you on that, and I'm talking about as soon as you finish with that last letter in Belichick, you start with that first letter in Andy. That's the basic what you're talking about when you're talking about greatness right there. And as we put Tom out here as the greatest, there's nibbling on his heels by Patrick Mahomes. And as we put Bill Belichick out here, at this rate, Andy Reid is nibbling on his heels. If they continue to do this, Andy hey man, I'm telling you.
Without controversy.
Right.
Without controversy, all the spy gates and the deflate gates, he ain't got none of that swirling around him. He just coaching ball, and he's got an opportunity to three-piece something Belichick didn't do.
And he harmonized with his coach, with his quarterback. So they're on the same race.
Yeah.
They're in the same fight, so they can fight together. Bill and Tom. Bill and Tom there was two different things. I just see this going down as the greatest thing ever. And what we should be doing now, teams like Washington, who see they may have a 2.0. Best I would pray they hope and pray that Jayden Daniels is the 2.0 of Patrick Mahomes. I'm telling them, open your eyes right now. Whatever you're doing, make sure that he has that partner. Like Patrick Mahomes got that partner in the Reid. If I'm you, I'm making sure I keep that partner with Jayden Daniels.
This episode of All Facts, No Breaks is presented by Cologuard, a non-invasive colon cancer screening test. As many of you know, cancer has personally impacted my family, making awareness around cancer screening especially important to me. Colon cancer is one of the most preventable, yet least prevented cancers. However, when detected early, the survival rate is 90%, which is why screening and early detection are crucial in reducing colon cancer deaths. The American Cancer Society recommends individuals at average risk begin screening at age 45. One convenient option is the Cologuard test, a prescription-based at-home screening with no prep required, unlike a traditional colonoscopy. It's delivered right to your door, allowing you to collect a sample comfortably at home on your own schedule with zero downtime. It's simple, convenient, and affordable way to take control of your health. So ask your healthcare provider about screening for colon cancer with the Cologuard test. Request the Cologuard prescription today at Cologuard.com/podcast. The Cologuard test is intended to screen adults 45 and older at average risk for colorectal cancer. Do not use Cologuard test if you have had anomalous, have inflammatory bowel disease, and certain hereditary syndromes, or a personal or family history of colorectal cancer. A Cologuard test is not a replacement for colonoscopy in high-risk patients. Cologuard test performance in adults ages 45 to 49 is estimated based on a large clinical study of patients 50 and older. False positives and false negatives can occur. Cologuard is available by prescription only. Let's switch over to the NFC. How impressive were the Eagles in the win? They scored 55 points, most by any NFC Championship game team in the history of the game. And Kellen Moore, your old offensive coordinator with the Dallas Cowboys, with a dominant performance. Biggest takeaways from that game, Michael?
My biggest takeaway from this whole playoffs for the Philadelphia Eagles has been them damn boys from Georgia on that defense and the way they are playing defense. You guys, This is the number one defense in the National Football League right now during these playoffs. And I'm going to tell you something. These mofos are flying around, man. You see them do, Key, I see them. You could tell when a team is on that dude. We ain't losing. I mean, the big boys up front, they're flying. They running sideline to sideline, trying to make every tackle. Those dudes in the backfield, defensive backfield, are all over the field. I can't wait to see that matchup. I cannot wait to see that matchup. When I was watching the Eagles and the Redskins, and the Commanders, I said to myself, Commanders, emotionally, this game seems too big for them. But it never seemed too big for the kid, for Jayden Daniels. It seemed too big for the Washington Commanders, but not Jayden Daniels, and I thought that was a fascinating watch.
Fun fact, Michael, the Philly had 7 rushing touchdowns, and your Dallas Cowboys had 6 this season. How do you feel about that?
Well, that tells you the golf and the separation.
7 in the game?
Yeah.
Y'all had 6 all season.
Yep. It tells you the golf.
Y'all couldn't use Saquon Barkley?
Man. Man, anybody could use Saquon. The thing is, could we have served Saquon like he has served us? It's just like when people say, are the Giants regretting losing Saquon? They can't regret. What do you hold him for? You're not prepared or ready to do this, so you're holding him back. Don't look at him with envy like, man, we let him get away and he could have gotten us there. No, he couldn't have, not with Daniel Jones. God himself can't with that situation. So, just let that man go have his glory.
So Hurts had 3 rushing touchdowns. He clinched his 2nd Super Bowl in 4 years as a starter. Do you guys think the media owes him an apology?
I think that we gonna have a hell of a conversation after this. Which way does that conversation go? Now, it could be, boy, they did it 3 in a row. Hell of a conversation. And we'll focus on the hell of a conversation of 3 in a row if they win it. But soon as we come off or put down that cigar, we got to pick up that other cigar that says, Jalen Hurts, you 0-2 in Super Bowls. So now, or do we pick up that cigar and say, Jalen Hurts won his first Super Bowl and he knocked off the king? And do we give him, now this will make people have to owe him an apology.
See, I think
if he knocked off the king, but if he knocks off the king, you see, now we put, you just did it, Joe Burrow up there because he knocked off the king. And he's a pure passer. This will be the first runner. This will be the first dude that they consider a runner, not a pure passer, knocking off the king. That would be a big step.
Knocking off the king is
and he should have done it in the last Super Bowl.
But he deserves an apology from people that talked about his ability to throw the football. His ability to throw the football in wanting, like he said in his presser the other day, he is not worried about the statistical side of the game like everybody else. Everybody else go to the box score. They don't care if he was, 22 of 58. They don't care if it said 500 yards. Oh, my God. Right. He's not caught up in that. So I think the people that look at the box scores and not looking at the game and understanding the game owes him an apology.
But then if you're just looking at the box scores and you're saying we owe him an apology and you're saying he doesn't care about that stuff, then we shouldn't owe him an apology. We shouldn't be talking about it. We're talking about it because he does care about it. I understand what you're saying when you say he's trying to say I ain't got to worry about that stuff. But we all worry about it because that's how people measure everything. We're watching everything and the numbers help us. Now, what we should be saying, I don't know that we owe him an apology for him throwing for 270 yards the other day in a championship game or anything like that. What we do owe him is a great spot to say, man, listen, nobody expected you to be here in your NFL career. everybody had you coming in and maybe a strong backup role, but not a key card in an offense like this that you're taking back to the Super Bowl for the second time in 3 years. That's a great journey.
This leads to my strong performance of the week presented by Oikos. Stronger makes everything better. This week's strong performance, speaking of someone, is Jalen Hurts. Hurts was 20 of 28, 246 yards in the air, a TD in the air, and 3 on the ground. He clinched his second Super Bowl appearance as a starter in 4 years. Now all he has to do is cap it off with a W. This is why I say we owe him an apology, because people kept saying going into these games in the playoffs, they can't throw the ball, they can't do this, they can't do that, can't do this, they can't do that. Well, the dude put the ball in the air.
Yeah, he did. He put it in the air and he made some great throws, but there were opportunities he got because of the great run game. And you yourself said it eloquently and statistically. That's why we're still having questions about it. He threw for 1 and ran for 3. Now, if he threw for 3 and ran for 1,
what's the difference? You still got 4.
Same thing, right?
Yeah, right, Keyshawn?
You get 28 on the board.
Yeah, that's the same thing.
Yeah, but no, it's not.
If I got 28 and I got 3 in the air and 1 on the ground, I got 3 on the ground and 1 in the air, it's 28.
Right. But we're not apologizing for the 3 on the ground. We apologizing. You're saying you need to apologize for that 1 I threw. I'm saying throw the 3. Then I'll apologize.
I don't need to throw the 3 because I could just run you over. Why?
Then don't get mad when I call you a running quarterback, not a passer, when you run 3 times and only throw 1. If you threw 3 and ran 1,
man, Michael, y'all so full of shit. Y'all so full of shit, man.
Right, I'm just saying. I'm just saying, you know, more time than not, you'll get Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, he's going to rush for some touchdowns. Yeah. But it won't be anywhere near what he throws for, because that's what we call a passer.
Because he's not the same type of runner.
Right, and that's what.
But what difference does it make if our ultimate goal is to win a Super Bowl?
Right.
In the Lombardi Trophy, if we flew to get it or we drove to get it, we got the damn trophy.
Right.
That's all that matters.
Right. But it matters because he wants his place in history.
He'll get his place in history.
And we all want our place in history. And we want our story told correctly. You know,
that's why I'm trying to tell it correctly.
Right. And I'm trying to help people crystallize the situation too. Now, you want to be known as a passer, a great passer, throw the ball all over the game, all over the field and win like that. Then they'll call you a great passer. But if you're going to run for 3 and only throw for 1, that's not going to go down as a great passer.
What's the ultimate goal at the end of the day?
Winning championship, buddy.
Is the W, not the L.
Right.
As long as I keep compiling my W's, fuck everybody.
Right, and you got to be able to tell not just everybody out here what you just said, fuck everybody. It ain't everybody that you got to tell it to. It's the enemy that's inner me that I got to tell it. That's the only person that's bothering Jalen Hurts is the enemy that's inner me, that's in him right now saying they ain't giving you enough credit. And I'm telling you, you right. Throw for 3 and run for 1 and come back and check with Mike. Then we'll straighten that out.
So facts or fiction, Saquon deserves an MVP this season.
Fact, that's absolutely fact. And I'm telling you, I extrapolate and take it and put all that stuff in there. What Saquon has done for the Philadelphia Eagles. If that's the most valuable player on a football team. Now, first, you satisfied all areas offensively with your arrival and the things that you delivered, right? You gave me a running game that was so potent that everybody has to come up in the line of scrimmage and focus on the run. Then that gives my quarterback one-on-one opportunities outside and my wide receivers one-on-one outside. Now, that's how much he helped Jalen Hurts. How much did he help those wide receivers? Yeah, he got the line stacked. Because of the run game, but I thought he did even more than that. Way he handled going down the wire about that record. Right? That sent a message to A.J. Brown, to Devontae, to all of them. Dude, I left that record on the table. It is not about that. It's about team. And I guarantee, and I thought every time I see A.J. Brown now, when I saw him reading the book and I see him, I said, he's watching Saquon now. That right there is worth some points going towards his MVP. That's why we hadn't had any blow-ups from A.J. Brown when he had one catch in the earlier games or two catches in the early game. And then this last game, he got a chance to explode because he kept quiet and got it done. I think Saquon for that, and that's why he deserves an MVP.
You know, Saquon needs 30 rushing yards in the Super Bowl to break Terrell Davis's combined regular season, postseason record of rushing yards in an NFL season. When you combine them, Terrell Davis did it at 2,476. So it's easy to say he'll get that with no problem at all.
Absolutely, he'll get that. Absolutely, he'll get it. And man, and I'm so happy for him. You know, because think about it, this guy came out with so much hype, and he was so incredible, so insane, and in the first few years marred with all of this mess and injuries and all of that playing out in New York on the biggest media stage. Now he gets his revenge right here going into the Super Bowl.
What you think about Nick Sirianni? Does he deserve more credit for what they're doing in Philadelphia?
I do think he deserves more credit. You know,
or more respect.
Right. More respect, more credit. How you gonna place it? Because he's not giving those genius tags that we gave to Sean McVay's and all of those guys.
Well, McVay won, so
and taking them and taking them. Yeah, McVay won. But he's gotten him. He's going to 2-2 in the last 3 years.
Well, he's 53-23 in 4 seasons at the helm. So, you know, you got to think he made the Super Bowl twice. He made the playoff every single year. He has the highest winning percentage among active head coaches at 706. I like him. Right. But again, like Jalen Hurts and many others, he's got to win that Super Bowl.
Right.
You got to cash it in.
Right.
Cash it in is a different conversation.
But but he gets credit for taking the talent he has and molding it into a Super Bowl team. You know, and we talked about the unconventional way the quarterback play. He says, I'll take you instead of trying to fit you into something. I'll fit this thing around you and get you to a Super Bowl. Coaching at his highest level. Got the players, let me find out what they do best and use it to coach them to their best. That's great coaching.
What are your guys' overall thoughts on Jayden Daniels?
Oh, he's best rookie quarterback in the history of the game. Best rookie quarterback in the history of the game. Because everybody else, we talked about it yesterday, I think, on the show, Michael. Everybody else had a top-notch defense that I can think of. Ben Roethlisberger, Flacco.
Very good run game.
Run games. He kind of spearheaded,
correct,
you know, the Washington Commanders into the NFC Championship. They didn't really have any household names. I mean, Austin Eckler, obviously McLaurin is a good piece to have, but no one's saying McLaurin is on his way to the Hall of Fame. I mean, so I look at this year best season ever, the rookie quarterback.
Right, and I give credit to McLaurin for that because remember early on, Key, when they were he was patient. I got to give him that.
He didn't get frustrated.
He didn't get frustrated, and he said that early on. He said, you know, I have to understand. Yes, I want the ball, but right now we have to develop our young quarterback, and I can't be after him and forcing him to break his reads. He said, I need him to go through his progressions and learn his reads. He said, it'll come, and it has come. And he got so many chances to make plays. But him handling it that way gives Jayden Daniels the opportunity to fully develop without the pressure of worrying about other things and satisfying this guy, satisfying that guy. And he's smart enough to know he's going to benefit greatly for the next 7-8 years.
So back in May, we had him on the show after he was drafted, and I asked him what Washington was getting with him as the new face of the franchise. Let's listen to that song.
A competitor and a dog that's gonna do whatever it takes to win. Try to change the trajectory of the franchise. You know, not in year one, but hopefully down the road. You know, it's gonna be a process. So, you know, it's something we're willing to work to.
So he got to a conference championship his rookie year. How do you guys think he will do in year 2?
That's why I said, the man said he's going to change the trajectory of the franchise. And he said not in year 1, so probably year 2. So this was his not in year 1. That was a hell of a turnaround and a trajectory shot to me.
Right.
So he's telling us this was his worst. This was his worst. Right here, we got his worst this year. And that was a hell of a worst. We're talking about it's the best we've ever seen. His worst was the best we've ever seen at that position. There's no doubt. Even that kind of thinking right there. He knows, and we talked about this yesterday, Key, when we talked about what that kid learned from being in that game. He's going to play this game 1,000,000 times before he play another football game in his head and in that little set. And when he comes back, he's going to be, because the growth between year 1 and year 2 is so incredible. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, and they're only going to get better. They're going to go out, get another receiver, or 2, get another running back, load up a little bit more on the defensive side of the ball. They'll be right back in the thick of things in the NFC East.
It's a hard conference.
Conference and division. Well, the division
yeah.
is just Philadelphia and Washington. The Giants and the Cowboys, not so hard.
Right.
Not so hard. Them 2 teams they trying to find their way out the toilet bowl.
All right, well, Super Bowl 57 rematch. We got the Eagles and Chiefs. Would you guys rather see the Chiefs get a three-peat or Saquon and Jalen get their first rings?
Man,
no.
I'd like to see Jalen and Saquon get their first rings, but if the Chiefs win the three-peat, that's history, and Patrick Mahomes goes to another stratosphere. It's either or with me. I really don't care. I think it's gonna be a good game, but I really wouldn't mind seeing Philly win.
Yeah.
Who you got? Who you think's gonna win?
I don't know. I ain't picking my game till Friday. Next
Not
Friday.
yet? All right, that's fair.
It's hard to pick this early
on
this stage because there's so many variables that come in play on this stage. Like, a team could be as focused as they want to be and everything, but now you're going to the Super Bowl. And you said, well, both of these teams have experience. Yeah, but some of these guys don't have experience.
No.
And some of the guys, you're going to go to a place where you're going to play the game, but also you're going to be celebrated. That's why I like where Jimmy used to go, and we went in early. We went in that Sunday before. You got Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. When we get here Tuesday night, that thing over. He gave us a few days to go and get all of the pats on the back from the crowd you want. But coming here Tuesday, all them pats are over. We're going to get right back on the business. So you got to be able to understand, yeah, this is a business trip, but you are the business, and people want to, man, give you some business. And there's a lot of business out there to take, and a lot of everybody happy to see you. So, yeah, that's a hell of a turn. You got to do it the right way.
All right, let's talk some Cowboy news. So Jerry Jones held a press conference yesterday to introduce new head coach Brian Schottenheimer. Let's take a listen to some of that.
Without this thing being about me in any way, if you don't think I can't operate out of my comfort zone, you're so wrong. It's unbelievable. This is as big a risk as you could take. As big a risk as you could take. No head coaching experience. How often do you have someone that has 25, I'm going to say 25, it may be 26, of years of working through the human relationship and aspiring to learn, of have his ears and eyes wide open and looking for techniques and looking for things that make coaches better.
So, Michael, I know you have some thoughts on this. What do you think of the hire and the Cowboys organization as a whole right now?
I just thought we missed a great opportunity here to try to get back in the fight. I've used analogies like great empires, things that I remember growing up, like Sears. And Sears, for you young guys, just like you, Keyshawn Jr., you don't know Sears. Sears used to be the biggest selling everything. They had this pamphlet, big book they put out every year. Everybody loved the book.
Mm-hmm.
But all Sears had to do was not be rigid. and move all of their equipment, all of their items off of the book and put it on the internet, they would have been Amazon. But they stayed rigid. A lot of the old customers said, I like the feel of the magazine in my hand. I want the real paper in my hand. Yeah, those are your old customers. Your new customers were on the internet.
Yeah.
So you stayed, your old customers, they got the feel of the book, and they took the book onto the grave, in your company onto the grave, right on with them, because you never sold and served the younger audience.
The Cowboys are like Sears.
And the Cowboys are like Sears right now.
Right.
The younger audience isn't getting served. In 40 years as a generation, 30 years, they have not been served. So if you don't have a great love because you've been connected and grabbed with a glory, with the story of a Super Bowl, in your heart, you pass that on. If you never have that story, you have nothing to pass on. And that whole generation never had the story.
Keyshawn's never seen the Cowboys in NFC Championship game?
Yes. He's the one I'm talking about.
He has not.
He's the one I'm talking about. Him. Everybody, every commercial you see on TV, they are advertising towards him. That's what I'm telling Jerry. What are we doing? We're losing the hymns. And they are coming up after it. So that's the only way my work stays intact. I'm risking losing all I built if we don't get to talking to him. And Dion talked to him. Because he talked to him on their platform in social media. That at least we had a chance. If we ain't gonna win championships to get to him, at least we could have worked.
Why did they rush to hire Schottenheimer, man, instead of just trying to figure out the prime situation?
And I heard Jerry talk about this. I heard Jerry say, excuse me, the money. You got Dion has a contract. He has a buyout in the contract and everything. Okay, I see that, Jerry. So I have to pay him more. Yes, you will. But we've run that route before. We understand that. And I've heard Jerry say a million times, if you give me an opportunity to win another championship, I'll write as big a check as I can write. And anybody tests me on it. We got tested, and we failed. All you had to do was write a check. Not the biggest check you ever wrote, but a nice size check, and we could have gotten that done. And dude, listen, the money would have been nothing. You'd have made all that money back up because what I just said, we got right back to the audience, to that young audience that we need to sell to, and we'll have them right back in the fold.
He done made that money tenfold, man. Dude paid a couple $100 million for the team worth $10 billion.
Right.
The hell you talking about?
Right. And now you put Dion on that, it just went from $11 billion to $14, $15 billion because it'll be crazy. Everybody would have been crazy excited.
So there's been 6 NFL teams that have made coaching changes. I want you guys to grade them all. So we'll start off with the Cowboys with Schottenheimer. What do you think? Fail?
F.
Michael, what do you think?
Yeah, when you look at the results, what's coming in and what he has done, and then you look at what needs to be done with the team, that has to be a failing grade. Absolutely.
Okay. The Raiders with Pete Carroll?
I say it's a nice B. It's a B grade because this is exactly what they need is stability. A guy who's done it before at the highest level, won championships, and it kind of fires up the fan base. So they got some work to do because they got to get some players in there. But, he's a defensive guy starting with Max Crosby. You know what Brock Bowler is as a tight end. So all they got to do is get the quarterback piece right. I think they'll be okay.
I give it a C because you're bringing Pete in. I love what Pete is. I know he's a young guy. He's great with the players. And the Raiders have that mystique going. But Pete, you don't have a quarterback over there, and you didn't bring. I just don't know how that situation is going to work out. So I think that Pete Carroll is a good C.
All right, New York Jets, Aaron Glenn.
I would say it's an A. They got exactly what they need. Some discipline, a no-nonsense coach that played the game at the highest level in New York and in Dallas and in Houston. He coached in New Orleans, coached in Detroit, turned over a defensive unit that clearly was missing a lot of pieces on the back end, but yet still was one of the top defenses in the league. I mean, I like this hire a lot because what they getting They getting a mix of Bill Parcells, Sean Payton, Dan Campbell, and Bill Belichick. That's what you getting. He been on the all limb, so you're going to get that nice mix. And the key thing about it all, playmaker, he's not going to try to be them. He's still going to be himself.
Right. And being himself gives him something over all of them. All of those guys you mentioned are good coaches, but they were never great players.
Exactly.
Y'all could kiss my butt.
Yeah.
Eric Glenn was a beast, boy. Y'all kiss my butt. Y'all don't know. I used to play that. I used to say, boy, that joke, you got to outthink this joker. Don't you think you going to go out here and just run that slant route? That joker know that slant route coming. You better know how to get inside of that joker or it's over. And so that right there, yeah, I put that A-, B+ on a higher because this is, I think it's great for New York. Your best player is probably Sauce Gardner. He's going to love AG. They going to harmonize greatly. They'll get together and AG will design things. They'll be back there talking football, giving him opportunity to do things because AG sees it like that. He can see the game from that perspective. But more important, as important, now, it's never nothing more important than what you're teaching on the field, but as important is how you handle that media. And all those guys you mentioned, they fought and scrapped with the media. They could never go to the place AG could go. Like, dude, I did this at a real high level. Right. You know, y'all just out here. I understand you're asking questions. Trust me, I know. I ain't telling you something I heard or something somebody put in me or coached me. I'm telling you what I did. That's why I say it's a great idea.
So then we got the New England Patriots with Mike Vrabel.
I give it a B. I mean, it's a former head coach, former player for the New England Patriots. Makes all the sense in the world. Josh McDaniels there to run the offense. They're trying to recreate some sort of Bill Belichick mystique, so to speak. Now, whether or not 4 years from now it turns into anything or they're turning the page to a new head coach, we got to wait to see.
Yeah, and I'll give it a B+ too because this was really the succession plan. Gerard Mayo got in the succession plan because this plan had materialized faster than Mr. Kraft really wanted it to. Mike Vrabel had worked up the ranks faster than they expected, and other people came and they couldn't hold them in New England. So when Gerard Mayo started making the rise up, they said, we don't want this to happen again. That's why they put the deal in this contract. But they really wanted Mike Vrabel. And now they really got Mike Vrabel. And so I make this a B+ higher too.
Okay. And then the Jacksonville Jaguars, they got Liam Cohen. How you guys feel about that?
I mean, that's a C. I don't even know what that is. Liam Cohen, first-time offensive coordinator, a one-year wonder splash. Carolina Panthers picked Dave Canellis up the same time, same thing. He kind of got this job on the back of Baker Mayfield, just like Canellis turned Baker Mayfield around. Now he comes in and make Baker Mayfield statistics better, and then they go out and hire him. So I'm not enthusiastic about it. I got to wait and see. It's a C for me.
Yeah, but what they're trying to do is give some kind of power to the young quarterback now. You know, they keep bringing in guys to get him going, and now the head guy, okay, let's see if this will work. You know, they bring a few guys in to try to get him going. So I want to see how this works. I'm going to give this about a C also.
Okay, and then last one we got Chicago Bears with Ben Johnson.
I'm gonna give it an A. They that was their target all along. They landed their target. They got a young quarterback. He's supposed to be a quarterback fixer based on what he did with Jared Goff in 3 years and Caleb Williams offensively. They got some pieces around him. They got a nice nucleus on defense. I give them an A. Let's see what they do.
Yeah, B+ for me. B+ for me in the sense that, man, you know.
You want to go lower or what?
Yeah, but you know, there's just a lot in this, man. There's a lot in it. I B+. Just I give him a B on that.
Michael, thank you for coming. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you guys for having me.
Oh, yeah. All right. That's a wrap for today's show. Thanks again to the playmaker Michael Irvin for joining the show. Be sure to follow All Facts Pod on social media and subscribe on YouTube. Until next time, it's Keyshawn. Peace.
Peace. That's good, man.